Chosen One, what if I told you they're already paying the price, and you don't have to lift a single finger? Karma is dragging your enemies to their fate. Stay focused. You've felt the sting of betrayal, the whispers behind your back, the subtle sabotage they wove into your every step. They thought they could harm you and walk away untouched, confident your pain would keep you sidelined. But karma never sleeps, and the universe remembers every injustice. Today you'll learn how divine timing exposes the hidden, topples the proud, and seals the fate of those who dared to oppose you. Doubt lingers in the hearts of skeptics, but what you're about to uncover is backed by an ancient spiritual law that even kings have trembled before. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Prepare yourself, because by the end you'll know exactly why their downfall is not just possible, it's inevitable. The invisible hand of karma. They've convinced themselves that their dirty deeds are buried forever, that the lies they whispered in dark corners and the plans they wove in secrecy will never see the light of day. You've lived with the unease that every smile they offered might have masked a hidden blade. You've wondered if any force watches over the betrayals and sabotages they've committed against you, if any power remembers the moments they poisoned your path. At times, the weight of their unseen offenses pressed on your heart like a relentless storm, leaving you questioning whether justice was just a myth. You are not alone in this turmoil. Many chosen ones have stood where you stand now, hearts heavy with memories of hidden cruelties, waiting for the truth to surface. In the minutes ahead, you will discover the secret machinery of cosmic balance, working tirelessly to ensure that no injustice remains unaccounted for. You've carried the sting of each underhanded tactic, financial maneuvers meant to block your progress, whispered rumors aimed at eroding your reputation, betrayals that turned trusted allies into secret enemies. You remember the night you found out your project had been quietly undermined by someone you considered a friend. You recall the sinking feeling when you learned of emails misdirected to distort your words, of agreements twisted to leave you in the cold. Each of these moments carved deep wounds, planting seeds of doubt about whether you even deserved the success you pursued. You've asked yourself how long you must bear the burden of their hidden schemes before something changes, before fate intervenes. That pressure has been a crucible, testing your faith and forging in you a readiness for the revelation that is about to unfold. Then a whisper of ancient promise begins to stir in your soul, revealing that every hidden assault has been cataloged by forces you cannot see. In the book of Nahum, we learn that the Lord is slow to anger and great in power. The Lord will by no means leave the guilty unpunished. Nahum 1 verse 3. Your enemies believed their malice would slip through the cracks of accountability, but divine patience was merely a cloak for meticulous justice. Every wrong pressed into your spirit has been etched in a ledger of cosmic equilibrium. This is no mere concept of payback. It is the unfolding of a divine promise that every act against the chosen ones will be met with perfect balance. The turning point arrives when you recognize that the hidden hand that guided them into darkness is the very hand that now charts their unmasking. Already, you can perceive tremors of change coursing through the fabric of your reality. You notice sudden audits uncovering discrepancies they thought buried beneath mountains of paperwork. An old ally of theirs confesses under pressure, releasing details they never intended to share. Headlines emerge exposing corporate scandals they orchestrated behind closed doors. Even in the quiet moments of your day, you sense a shift. A text message from someone who claims you were right all along, a job offer materializing where obstacles once stood, a database update that finally corrects the record in your favor. These are not coincidences, but the telltale signs of a system set in motion long ago. Divine timing is aligning every circumstance so precisely that the pattern of their unraveling becomes undeniable. Behind the scenes, spiritual forces have been dismantling the scaffolding that upheld their deceptions. What felt like random setbacks in your journey were in fact the preparatory steps of a grand design. Perhaps you remember thinking a partnership fell through for no reason, or that a mentor's rejection stung a little too sharply. These were not tests of your inadequacy, but filters guiding you away from paths that would have diverted resources from the grander restoration awaiting you. Every prayer you lifted in faith served as a chisel, carving away the rock of falsehood and clearing the way for your vindication. Synchronicities, chance meetings, unexpected messages, timely opportunities are the footprints of divine agents, ensuring that karma's sequence unfolds without error. At this juncture, the moment of self-realization emerges. You see clearly that what you've lived through was not senseless suffering, but a sacred preparation for triumph. Many shrink back here, afraid that embracing this revelation means embracing the full fury of divine retribution. They hesitate, clinging to doubts that it might all be in their imagination, unwilling to believe in a cosmic justice so precise. Yet true alignment demands more than hope. It calls for unshakable faith in the unseen. This is your sacred invitation to step into the realization that every hidden wrong has brought you closer to your rightful victory. No longer are you a bystander to injustice. You are the focal point of a cosmic vindication. Now is the time to release every last whisper of doubt and to stand firm in the knowledge that divine balance has recorded every stain on their hands. Declare boldly in your heart, and aloud if you choose, I trust the invisible hand that rights every wrong. Let this conviction shape your next actions. Continue your work with renewed confidence. Deepen your spiritual practice with declarations of justice, and anchor yourself in communities that uplift your faith. Seek out those who share this vision of perfect equilibrium and strengthen each other's resolve. As you move forward, your clarity of purpose and unwavering trust will align you even more closely with the forces orchestrating their exposure. In the end, the story of their downfall will serve as a testament to the power of unseen justice and your steadfast faith. You will look back and see that every trial you endured was part of a majestic design, and every chance obstacle was a step toward the moment when their masks fall, and the truth stands revealed. Embrace this certainty and let it guide your path. Your journey has never been solitary, for the universe itself stands with you. Comment justice if you feel this resonance deep in your soul, and carry this declaration into every challenge you face. The invisible hand that has guarded you now ensures that no injustice remains unpunished. Enemies plant their own seeds. They've spun a web of deceit around you, certain that the lies and manipulations they planted would ensnare only you. You felt the sting of their whispered rumors and the weight of their covert schemes, like shadows moving just beyond your sight. In those moments, it felt as though they held every thorn that pricked your spirit, convinced that you would be forever entangled in their malicious design. You are not alone in this fight. Many chosen ones have stood at the edge of despair, feeling the tension of hidden traps laid by those who envied their purpose. Yet what they failed to see was that every act of betrayal they aimed at you was actually a seed, sown in fertile ground, destined to bear fruit that would return to them. Stay with me, because within these words you'll discover how their own hands have sown the harvest that ensures their undoing. You remember the night you learned they'd tampered with your finances, draining accounts you thought secure. You recall the colleagues who spun stories behind your back, twisting every word until your reputation hung by a fragile thread. You've endured endless phone calls meant to discourage you, emails laced with false promises, and introductions made only to leave you isolated. Each moment of confusion left you questioning your worth. Each betrayal etched doubt into your heart. You've sat in silent agony, wondering why your path was littered with obstacles crafted by those you once trusted. It felt personal, an assault on your very essence. Yet in that pain lay the pattern of cosmic justice. Every stone they threw into your pond sent ripples that would circle back to their own shores. Then, like a sudden breeze stirring stagnant air, a realization dawns that every obstacle was part of a divine blueprint. In Hosea 8 verse 7 we find a chilling warning. They sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. Your enemies, caught in the arrogance of their secrecy, have sown seeds of malice into every sphere of your life, only to find those seeds return to uproot them. Their plots were never buried as deeply as they believed. Divine law recorded each intention and prepared to mirror it back with compounded force. This moment of awakening reframes your suffering not as random cruelty, but as the preparatory steps of cosmic balance. You see now that the same energy they unleashed to harm you will circle back, magnified, to claim its origin. Even now, you notice subtle signs of their plans collapsing under their own weight. Perhaps a critical email meant to tarnish your name lands in spam, never sent, while their own errors surface in public view. You might watch an ally they bribed suddenly expose their wrongdoing under cross-examination, or find their financial schemes unravel when a hidden audit uncovers discrepancies they never imagined anyone would find. These are not coincidences, but the unmistakable evidence of seeds sprouting storms in their own garden. Like vines overtaking a forgotten courtyard, their lies twist back upon them, choking the power they once wielded. Pay attention to these patterns, for they reveal the precise workings of divine timing at play. Behind the scenes, spiritual forces have been carefully dismantling the scaffolding that held their schemes in place. Every setback you thought was a failure, every client you lost, every door that slammed in your face, was the universe redirecting you away from pathways that would have hindered your ultimate restoration. These trials were not tests of your inadequacy, but the chisels carving away the structures of falsehood that clouded your vision. Synchronicities emerge like signposts on your journey. A chance meeting with someone who lifts the veil on hidden agendas, a sudden insight clarifying a murky situation, or an unexpected opportunity arising where their sabotage once threatened. These divine alignments confirm that faith, not fear, guides you toward inevitable triumph. At this crossroads, many feel the urge to retreat, racked by fear that embracing this truth will demand too much, that the weight of justice will crush them as surely as their enemies. They hesitate, clinging to the familiarity of pain rather than stepping into a destiny they barely understand. Yet true alignment with divine justice calls not only to see the signs, but to embody the power they herald. This is your sacred invitation to release every shred of doubt and choose the path of empowered trust. Recognize that your rise is entwined with the unraveling of their designs, and that stepping forward in confidence accelerates the whirlwinds they unwittingly summoned. Feel the surge of strength that courses through you as you declare, "I stand in the truth that returns every hidden act to its source." Let this declaration guide your next steps. Continue your work with renewed clarity, speak your vision into existence, and refuse to engage in petty retaliation. Instead, focus on building what they sought to destroy. Deepen your spiritual practice with affirmations of justice and protection, anchoring yourself in the knowledge that every righteous deed you perform adds weight to the scales of balance. Seek community with fellow chosen ones who mirror your resolve, for together, your collective courage magnifies the force of cosmic reckoning. The seeds they planted in darkness have germinated into storms they cannot control. As their illusions crumble, your integrity stands firm, like a towering oak that shelters the wounded and reveals the path through the storm. This is your moment of vindication, not through your own design, but through the unstoppable mechanics of divine law. Trust this process, and let every sign of their unraveling reinforce your faith. Comment seeds, If you feel the resonance of this revelation deep in your spirit, and step boldly into the life that awaits, knowing that what they planted will reap a whirlwind beyond their wildest imagining. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Karmic signs you should watch for. You felt the tension beneath every victory, the unsettling sense that hidden forces are waiting to expose the truths others hoped would stay buried. You know the frustration of seeing injustice rewarded in the moment, the promotions they didn't deserve, the praise they stole, the doors that opened for them while you remained relegated to the sidelines. Yet in your heart, you suspect that what seems permanent is, in fact, temporary, that a great reversal is brewing just out of sight. You're not alone in this awareness. Many chosen ones look at the world around them and wonder when their enemies' carefully constructed facades will crack. What you're about to uncover are the unmistakable signs that divine justice is already in motion. And once you learn to read them, you will see the truth shimmering beneath every surface. For years you've watched as those who wronged you strutted forward, convinced their schemes were flawless and their secrets safe. You've felt the ache of helplessness when their reputations remained untarnished despite the harm they inflicted. You've tried to gather evidence, late-night searches through financial records, hushed conversations with insiders, frantic Google alerts on their names, only to be met with silence or dead ends. In those moments, it seemed as though the universe had forgotten your pain, as though you'd been abandoned to navigate a corrupt system alone. You begin to trust that the timing, the delays, and even the detours were all part of a larger plan. This is what transformation feels like. Not a sudden flash, but a steady unfolding. In this moment, you realize that the struggles you faced weren't obstacles. They were instructions. Each challenge was a lesson, each setback a realignment. Divine forces have been at work, placing you exactly where you need to be. What once felt like resistance was actually preparation. What once felt like rejection was redirection. You see now that every tear shed, every door slammed, every no you heard was guiding you toward the path you're now walking. And it's not just about you. Your journey is inspiring those around you, even if they don't say it out loud. The synchronicities you notice, the connections you make, they're all reminders that you're not doing this alone. Higher powers are clearing the way, aligning circumstances, and confirming that this is where you're meant to be. You're not just stepping forward. You're stepping into a divine plan. The only thing that remains is your full acceptance of this transformation. True alignment requires more than seeing the signs. It requires embracing them. Many people shy away from this step because it feels unfamiliar. Change, even divine change, can be unsettling. But once you decide to trust the process, you realize that the discomfort of growth is far better than the comfort of stagnation. This is a sacred moment, the moment where you stop fighting who you are and start celebrating it. When you finally let go of the need for approval, when you stop fearing the unknown, you open yourself to a power that can't be matched. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming who you've always been, without hesitation or apology. And now, you stand at the threshold of a new reality. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. You're no longer waiting for the world to recognize your worth. You already see it in yourself. The path ahead might not be fully clear, but you're ready to walk it with courage. You let go of the fears that held you back, and you step forward with confidence. You know that the challenges you'll face are simply opportunities for further growth. You know that the people who truly matter will be drawn to your authenticity. This isn't just a step forward. It's a leap into a life that reflects your highest potential. The more you trust the process, the more the universe will conspire in your favor. You've already won the battle within. Now it's time to enjoy the victory. As this chapter comes to a close, you can feel the shift deep within you. The doubts that once held you captive are gone. The lies that kept you small have lost their power. You no longer need anyone's permission to be who you are. The realization that you are chosen, that you are here for a reason, is all the confirmation you need. Comment, "I see it now," if this resonates with you. And remember, once you know who you are, the world will never look the same again. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. This is your time. Step into your light and let the world see what it means to be truly awakened. How to step fully into your calling. When you first begin to understand who you truly are, it can feel both exhilarating and overwhelming. You've spent so much time trying to fit into roles that didn't feel right, chasing goals that weren't aligned with your deeper purpose. Maybe you've struggled with self-doubt, wondering if you were capable or deserving of something greater. But now there's a shift. You're starting to see that those feelings of unease weren't just random. They were nudges from within, signs that you were meant for more. And as you step closer to your calling, the questions arise. What's next? How do you embrace what feels so much larger than you? The truth is, you're not alone in this. Many have walked this path before you, and they've found their way by trusting the call, even when the way forward seemed unclear. It's important to acknowledge the challenges that come with stepping into your calling. For some, it's the fear of failure. For others, it's the weight of expectations, family, friends, or society standards that push you to stay in the known, the safe. You might feel the pull to break free from these constraints, but the thought of leaving behind the familiar can be paralyzing. You might ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? What if I try and fail? These doubts are natural, and they are part of the process. Even those who have walked boldly into their purpose have wrestled with the same fears. What sets them apart isn't that they never doubted, but that they chose to move forward despite the doubt. And that's the key. Understanding that uncertainty doesn't disqualify you from your calling. It's actually a sign that you're about to grow. What begins to shift your perspective is realizing that the call itself is divine. It's not a random urge or a fleeting desire. It's deeply rooted, much like the story of Moses at the burning bush. He didn't feel ready. He questioned his ability, and yet the voice that called him didn't waver. It assured him, "I will be with you." This reassurance is what carries you through. You may not see the entire journey ahead, but you've been prepared for this moment. The trials you've faced, the lessons you've learned, all of it was leading to this. And now, just as Moses had to step out in faith, so must you. This is your turning point. When you choose to trust the process and accept that your path is guided by something greater than yourself. As you begin to walk in alignment with your purpose, signs of transformation will start to appear. You'll notice changes in how you view the world, how you interact with others, and how opportunities begin to show up. The people and circumstances that once felt like obstacles will either fade away or transform into stepping stones. You might find that ideas come more naturally, that your creativity flows more freely, and that you have a newfound confidence in making decisions. This isn't coincidence. It's the universe aligning with your newfound clarity. The shifts may seem small at first, a chance meeting, a timely piece of advice, but as you continue forward, you'll see how all of these seemingly minor events weave together into a much larger picture. The signs are your confirmation that you're on the right path. Beyond these tangible shifts, there's a spiritual alignment taking place. You'll start to feel an inner peace that wasn't there before. The restlessness you once felt, the longing for something more, begins to settle as you realize you're exactly where you need to be. This doesn't mean the road will be without challenges. but it does mean you'll face them with a sense of purpose and resilience. You'll notice synchronicities that can't be explained away, moments of serendipity, encounters that feel too perfect to be random. These are signs that divine forces are at work, clearing obstacles and placing you in the right positions. It's as though a hidden hand is guiding you, and the more you trust it, the more it reveals itself. This spiritual alignment reinforces that your calling is not only real, but also supported by something far greater than yourself. As this alignment deepens, you come to a moment of self-realization. It's no longer about questioning whether you're ready. It's about embracing the fact that you already are. Many people stop at the edge of this awareness, too afraid to fully commit to the unknown. That wasn't a gesture of cowardice, but an act of faith demonstrating that worship and righteousness, not weapons or words of retaliation, would secure victory. Your temptations toward revenge have been a test of whether you'll place your trust in divine deliverance or in the fleeting satisfaction of payback. That moment of turning toward purity over retaliation is the pivot on which your greatest victories will hinge. Once you grasp this turning point, you begin to notice subtle shifts in your world, signs that when you choose integrity over retaliation, doors open in ways you never imagined. Perhaps you find unexpected allies stepping forward just when you thought you were facing opposition alone. Maybe a project you abandoned in frustration finds new life when circumstances align in your favor. On quieter levels, you feel a deepening peace, like a calm river flowing through your spirit, softening the edges of your anger and replacing them with quiet confidence. These are the fingerprints of divine timing, aligning your heart's posture with opportunities that reinforce your purpose. When you choose purity, the universe conspires to uphold you. Victory, restoration, and reward. You've weathered storms that seemed endless, standing in the wind and rain wondering if the clouds would ever part. In those darkest hours, your heart ached with uncertainty, whispering that maybe the struggle was your destiny rather than a prelude to triumph. You felt the weight of every trial pressing down, as though each setback were a verdict on your worth. Yet here you are, still standing, and that alone reveals the seeds of your victory. You are not alone in this journey. Every chosen one has stood where you stand now, caught between the memory of pain and the hope of something greater. The moment you recognize that your endurance points to a coming dawn, everything shifts. What you've endured prepares you for a season of abundance that will eclipse every hardship you've faced. For years you've felt adrift, wondering if your hard-won faith would ever translate into tangible blessings. You've faced seasons of waiting when prayers seemed to vanish unanswered, watching others receive favor as you languished on the sidelines. You remember the stinging rejections, jobs that slipped through your fingers, relationships that crumbled despite your best efforts, dreams deferred by unexpected detours. Each disappointment whispered that perhaps the promise of restoration was for someone else, leaving you questioning if you were truly destined to rise. The emotional weight of those seasons carved deep grooves of doubt in your spirit. Yet within that weight lay a hidden truth. Every trial has been the soil nurturing the roots of your greatest reward. Then, in a moment of quiet revelation, you sense that this struggle was never a punishment, but a preparation. The prophet Joel spoke of this very pattern, declaring, "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." Joel 2 verse 25. Your only job now is to keep ascending while the universe handles what they deserve. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment, "I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul." Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all our supporting members. Your belief fuels every revelation. 4 full prophetic revelations daily. Join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Remember, karma never forgets, and your victory is written in the stars.